Detonator will play that, because I don't think it's going to happen based off of how Tigers played game 1.
Yeah, I'm feeling like the high tempo, the kind of smaller items which allow them to get their momentum going is probably what we're more likely to see. But then again, you know, they might just want to practice a late game. Maybe they aim for it anyway just to try and get that. But no, not in an open qualifiers.
I would have, whenever I saw the Magic Jug, I was just like, wow, are Tigers, are they really good enough to style and at a point like this in the DPC? Granted, this isn't a DPC tournament, but I don't think that you can afford to, you know, it's an open qualifier game, and I don't think that they have enough of a storied history with this roster to be like, dude, let's just mess around. It's the best of 3 grand finals, whatever, it's no big deal.
Yeah, right, especially for Tiger. I mean, Tigers, every single game I've seen of theirs has been incredibly close, which you know, no matter who they're playing against, you know, if it's Fnatic, if it's you know, some random open qualifier stack, they always like to bring things to the line, and I'm not sure, I don't know, they seem to be addressing these issues today. And of course, you know, they do have stomp games. They have games where they get stomped, but you know, those games which everybody's talking about are usually the ones where Tigers have brought things to the line. I think they played like was it a 4-hour-long series last time they were in an open qualifiers? So
really,
yeah, it was a real. I can't remember who that was against, but they've played some ridiculously long games, and I think they lost that one as well. So.
And not because of pauses, like actually just legitimate gameplay the entire time.
Yeah, I mean, well, draft gameplay. Yeah, it was a long old time. It was a long series. So Sven picked up from Detonator, seeming to be in the support position, and helping out with. Don't know what this Sven's about, actually. Is this support Sven? I don't know what it's doing here. I was like, yeah, I'll just talk about it. You know, usually when a pick comes up, you start talking about it, and then you kind of figure out where it's going as you talk. This time, no. I don't know.
I've ranted against Sven with you before, right?
You have indeed, yes, but I'll hear it again happily.
If you don't have any physical damage, if you don't have any right clicks even, it's not physical damage. If you don't have any right clicks worth mitigating, there's no point to picking Sven, especially in a support role. In a core role, it's fine because someone's gonna have to right click you eventually. As a support, no one cares. And right now, Tigers have literally no right click damage, and Pugna just adds on to that. So I have no justification for the Sven whatsoever. It
no.
does not necessarily provide any. You can Warcry. No, you can't.
It's good against the Treants.
You're really stretching it.
I'm just trying to find the justification
Grasping at
here.
Straws.
Yeah. I'm sure it's something like that.
Yeah, at least it's not first phase, because my most hated Sven picks are whenever they show up in the first phase and they're like, it's okay, they'll pick a right click carry eventually, and then it's like Pugna, Leshrac, a whole bunch of magic damage, and you're like, that's not good. And that's what it's looking to be in this situation as well. Detonator, who are they banning out? Ban out Spectre. Yeah, I don't really know what their plan is. It's not like their push is that great either. It's pretty much just Enigma. And if it is planning on being a BKB Blink Enigma, then that means nothing like a Detonator. I mean, Dominator early on. Nothing like a Vlad's for the Enigma, so his push is going to be lacking if he's planning on building initiation.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a kind of trade-off there, isn't it? Between those two builds for Enigma. Not a ton of cancel though, so I mean, you know, the Pugna and the Prophet both offering nothing in the way of cancel, and you know, Doom, he can only really Doom you, and that's about it, because you're not getting in close enough for an Infernal Blade when there's a black hole going on.
5 seconds.
Yeah, which is why I'm curious what Tigers will end up picking as their one position. Will they just pick someone who's perfectly okay with getting black holed, like a DK or something, or do they pick someone who can deal with situations at range, like a Drow Ranger or something like that? Not that it would be a Drow Ranger, but some sort of ranged carry that doesn't necessarily need to get close to a fight or need to get close to a tower to push it. Situations. Personally, I would prefer that they go the ranged approach.
Yeah. Okay, and they pick up the Ursa.
That's
yeah.
fine.
All right.
Anyway,
Gives them a lot of
still...
pickup potential, even more pickup potential actually.
Yeah. And a hero who also does not really care about Sven's Warcry. Even though he is right-click damage, it adds up so fast that you can burn off. You're adding Fury
10
Swipe
seconds
stacks, even though your first few attacks are getting absorbed by the Warcry, but it doesn't matter because the
5
first few attacks don't do that much damage. And then by the time the Warcry is burnt off, then your Fury Swipes are doing plenty of damage.
And a Kunkka to finish things off for Detonator. That is going to round off their draft, and well, it's an interesting one. Again, so it's looking like Sven. I don't know where they're laning this, to be honest, and nobody's picked yet, so they're waiting to see what Tigers are doing, it seems. All right, so R on the Enigma, so it's a 4 Enigma, fly solo on the Sven, so it's a 5 Sven. So Venge is going to be in the off lane, and obviously Jug carry. No surprises there.
Yeah.
Okay. Is this Venge gonna? I guess the Venge kind of sits under tower, and the Enigma's just gonna be denying off the creeps and dragging that equilibrium back under their tower.
10 seconds remaining.
Of all the heroes to be
5
given the 3
seconds
position,
remaining.
Venge was the least likely in my book. I would have given it to the Sven or the Enigma way before I give it to the Venge.
Well, full of surprises, Detonator. Let's see if it pays off for them. Didn't last game, but hell, they're gonna keep on trying as Dendi Pugner Velo playing on his Ursa, and it's gonna be 4-5-8 on the Doom. I hate this guy was on the team called 496, and now his tag is 496.458. Like, your name shouldn't be a phone number. It's
It's pretty good. But
thanks, man. Thanks. And Raven on the
good.
Prophet as well, so he's going to be super annoying on this hero.
I mean, if you put him and well, how many digits are UK phone numbers? Because for me, this looks exactly like a US phone number if you put him right next to 1437, because 496 is the area code, and then US phone numbers are 3 digits and then 4 digits.
Dan, how long are UK phone numbers? That's not something I know off the top of my head. I think there are 11 numbers actually.
I know your IT crowd ambulance with this number. 0118995 or something like that. Did you watch the
Damn
IT
pop
crowd?
culture. Yeah, I did. I often get told I look like Moz.
Ah, I can definitely see that.
Yeah.
Richard Iowide.
Yep, yeah, that's Guy Iowadi.
Iowadi, that's right.
Yeah, bit of an icon. Anyway, enough IT crowd. Let's get into the IT game, as we've got a video game being played. It's actually Dota 2, in case you didn't know, and it is going to be Detonator being playing against Tigers for their spot in the closed qualifier of the ESL 1 at Birmingham event. I keep wanting to call it a major, you know, because the last one was a major, and now I'm just like ESL 1 Birmingham major, but it's not a major. It's not DPC. ESL going off the books and doing it all. In fact, they didn't get a single DPC event this time around. So it feels like a deliberate decision. I don't know.
Yeah, I am curious what that was about. You'd think at the minimum they would have been able to get a minor, but they're still grinding out. They got Mumbai coming up, Birmingham.
Yeah, they've kind of just done their own kind of course of in-between events, which yeah, pretty fun.
30 seconds
And
to
Mumbai
battle.
coming up very shortly indeed. In fact, in a few weeks, I think.
Yeah, I think it's 2nd week of April.
So look out for that. But yeah, Birmingham coming much later on in the year. So looks like the runes will be pretty peaceful here. No one really looking to invade or anything like that. There's a ton of voice lines being thrown out as well, which is what we like to see.
Doom's
Battle
creeping
begins.
in the dire jungle. I'm assuming what
Yeah, what's he
devour
going
range
for
creep
here?
or something like that. Oh, I'm sorry. This is the other way around. Oh, why
yeah.
was
Wrong side of that.
why was the dire Doom hiding in his own jungle?
I think he was worried about the rotations from the Radiant.
Yeah.
So it's a fair concern, I think.
See, now
Raven.
it's Raven down here that's confusing me because I saw
Yeah,
Raven down
yeah,
here and
yeah.
I was like, all right, clearly red bar Radiant.
It's, they're getting super aggressive under this tower. Look at these guys. They have no chill. But now the solo throws up to lane. Fly solo's here. It is going to be like, okay, we probably can't dive a solo Venge. So despite what I thought, it's actually going to be the Enigma up in the top lane. But yeah, that's correct. The Radiant. Right. So he's going to be pulling the creeps for the Juggernaut, who's going to be laning up solo versus the Doom. Okay. Interesting way to lane it. I think this probably works better than the Venge, to be honest. They can't. Oh, does it? Does Venge lane better versus? I don't think they really care who lanes up versus the Doom. He's just going to do his thing anyway.
Yeah, I think primarily Detonator wanted to avoid Jug versus Ursa. And so, as a result, they're just putting two heroes down here that Tigers does not really care about. Tigers, I don't think, really cares if the Sven gets farmed or the Venge gets farmed. They really just didn't want the Jug to get farmed. And laning against the Doom or laning against the Ursa is both not the greatest of situations for the Jug, but they would prefer it against the Doom. So I'm pretty sure Tigers is just going to keep this tri-lane going, take the tower super fast, and make sure that Sam H on the Venge and Fly Solo on the Sven just don't get anything done.
Yep, that's going to be the plan. Stun comes out onto Vengeful Spirit here, but the response from the Sven is quicker, though Sam H getting blocked up by the Treants here. Doesn't manage to make his way out the other side, but the right click from the Treant will finish him off there. Sam H drops, and they're looking for more here as the Ursa comes in. He's got that overpower, and Fly Solo dropped in the bottom lane as well. 2 kills for the Tigers to start things off down here at bottom. And that is a great start to this bottom lane as the tri-lane works wonders.
And can you imagine this after the Treant damage got nerfed?
Yeah, right? I mean...
And it was heavily nerfed. It was what, 27-36 at level 1. That is a lot at level 1, but with the Blightstone that everyone goes for on support Prophet, it's still so powerful against these supports early on. And Sven, still level 1, does not have any points in Warcry. He's so close to level 2. Right now camping on a Haystream bot, hopefully aiming to get a Stormhammer gank on mid if he can find it, which Dendi is.
He's pretty far forward here.
Yeah,
pretty low mana, pretty far forward. Hasn't placed that Observer Ward down yet either, so won't be able to see it coming if he does decide to run in for this one. Look at the damage as well. He's being so patient. Yeah, I think they might have noticed now that the Sven's been gone for such a long time. Dendi's way under tower, but actually the X-Marks is coming in with the Torrent as well. Wand up from Dendi's going to keep him alive a little bit longer. Torrent's very fast, but with the stun coming through. The Hex, though, onto the Conquer. Fly Solo chasing around the tower, but not doing any damage to the bunker here, and Ben Hell will back himself away. No kill to be had onto Dendi, and quick rotation from 1437 ensures his survival here as Fly Solo fails the rotation, and down the bottom lane he's under tower. Yeah, the S is going to work, although should die to the Illusion in the tower. No, nice little aggro switch. Never mind. Illusion finishes the job, and Raven not particularly healthy either, but Fly Solo coming in the other way around the tree, so won't be able to stun. Oh, never mind. Does manage to get the Stormhammer off, but unfortunately the Venge Illusion is now dead because Venge, the annoying person, did survive. Sorry, didn't survive. Respawned is what I was looking for there, which kills the Illusion.
Yeah, she wished she survived. The Illusion got a kill, and as a result, she gets no experience. She still has an experience advantage over Ursa just because Tigers was tri-laning for a little bit, but if she managed to be able to get a solo kill on Ursa, that would have been fantastic. But I think Velo's okay giving up his life for that. He just wants to make sure that everyone's busy, but Prophet taking more abuse.
Yeah, Stun comes out onto him, and Prophet being brought down pretty quickly here. He's going to die as Velo tries to bring down the Sven with him, but Sven, well, he's walking in some interesting ways here. The stun comes out from the Venge as Sven, where are you going, buddy? There's not going to be any escape from this. So they're just going to take the tower hit and go down all the same. Sam H.
Relentless.
Yeah. Fighting is non-stop here in the bottom lane, as now Sam H is probably finding himself going down. Does manage to start the Ursa for the time being, but they've got plenty of chase available. The right click coming through, and Sam H is going to go down here as the Venge dies in the bottom lane. 1437 picks up that kill, and Tigers just getting to work. Let's look at top for a bit. So they've got this Ring of Health on the Juggernaut to help them survive with the Doom's constant harassing with that Infernal Blade. And he's even got
3 points.
Wow, 3 points scorched up. Yeah, that's going for it. And look at the Jug here. He's trying to fight it up. He really wants to grab this bounty rune. Will be successful, but 458. He's going to make his way easily over to the bounty rune and be able to claim that gold for his team. Meanwhile, both were claimed by the Dire in the bottom lane. So yeah, only managed to get 1 rune on Detonator so far. Looking like a fairly convincing start for Tigers, to be honest with you.
Yeah, the Chinese teams during Dream League, I think, were starting to popularize Scorched Earth maxed. And
hey, guess what? They're diving at bottom. Sam H under the tower once again. Although the stuns are coming out thick and fast onto Velo here, but he will be able to aggro switch away. And with these Treants here to help absorb these tower hits, well, they will now back themselves out, but very, very aggressive from Tigers starting things off. Meanwhile, up at top, they're looking for the Doom in the trees, but actually the Doom's just been able to kill the Enigma. Juggernaut wants to keep getting here, but he doesn't really have enough damage to bring down this Doom, but he's still going to chase. Scorched Earth has now finished off, so Jug will just get straight back to farming. But they went for a kill on the Doom and just ended up dying to the Scorched Earth from this level 3. This is ridiculous. Venge gets the deny in bottom lane, but the Hex comes out. Venge could be in some trouble, but no Ursa to back them up this time around, so SamH will be able to get himself out.
Top again. Jug wants to finish the job, and he may just do so.
Finally getting the kill onto that Doom with that magic damage to eat through his armor.
Nope, just SamH bot. Oh, the 2-hero Stormhammer.
Helps out, buying some space. Fly solo. Yeah, he's given his life to the cause here as he chooses to go down instead. The shrine is popped by SamH. 1437 coming in here, but Venge might want to fight this one as she throws down the Wave of Terror. So making his way over though, SamH, he wants to go for the kill, but he doesn't want to get eaten alive by this big angry bear of Velo as he's continuing to chase it. He's got that poison, he's got them phase boots, and SamH can really not do a whole lot here. Maybe turn around with a stun, but I'm not sure they can fight this one up as he pops the overpower again here. And really wants to try and find the Venge. Might have to settle for the spend, but actually they're under the tower here, under the tier 2, so they're going to be absolutely fine. Meanwhile, in the top lane, the Doom goes down. Now the rotation's coming down at bottom. Is this game ever going to stop, or are we just playing at this tempo game now?
I believe the game will stop at some point. Typically, that's how it works.
Okay. Good.
In terms of the kills, though, I don't think that's happening anytime soon. Pugna actually choosing to rotate.
Kunkka maybe in some trouble, but they're coming in to maybe turn around onto Velo here as the X marks and the torrent comes through. Mercer getting low here. One more hit will be required, and the spend does manage to get that big old sword of his into the back of Fuzzy Wuzzy. Finally bringing down the reign of Velo, but only getting 188 gold for that kill because Velo has actually been farming. Like, he's got 23 CS. He's just chasing people down. He's not hitting creeps. He's hitting heroes.
Yeah, and unfortunately, no one else is really taking advantage of that because Doom took quite a bit of abuse in the top lane, and Dendi actually chose to rotate top as opposed to pushing mid. It's maybe possible that he wanted to stop off in the jungle momentarily and it was just on the way, but mid lane was unattended for quite a while. Kunkka went all the way top to gank the Doom and then proceeded to go bot to gank the Ursa, and Dendi did not really do very much damage on this mid lane tier 1, so maybe not the most efficient use of time, but he is pretty high level. He's level 7, so it's possible that he's been coming up the jungle in the meanwhile.
Interesting ward placement from the Die here. Radiant jungle. Just making sure they've got a lot of vision over this area. Maybe a little bit of miscommunication when placing the wards there.
Sometimes one of them is like a decoy ward, but you need to place them further apart because if you put a sentry like right in the middle, which is usually what people do, especially when you have a spell that can check the cliff like Torrent or Wave of Terror, then they'll usually not have to put it on the cliff. But sometimes it's like a decoy ward, meanwhile top lane.
Well, we had a break in the action, but now we're getting straight back to it as Doom is getting a boat dropped on his head and he is going to die to Ben-Hur here.
Good, Midas secured.
Whew. Yeah, to actually get it just before he died there. Efficiency is held.
And now Tigers is sort of pushing mid.
Yeah, they've got double damage on Dendi, and they've also got this Decrepify and Blast to work with as well, so power is going to go down. Shame can't Decrepify towers, isn't it?
Man, that would be something.
Imagine if you could Decrepify towers and then you could be able to use any spell on it. No, Luna's going to Laguna Blade mid.
I always love seeing, well, it hasn't happened in a long time, but whenever you can bash towers with Roshan, that's always very amusing to see the little bash effect. I'm very amused to see the silence effect whenever Curse of Avernus gets procced on towers.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I always thought that if that happens, then you shouldn't be able to fortify it, but, you know.
Oh, okay. I was thinking that you shouldn't have backdoor protection.
Oh, wow, that would be horrible.
Tier 2.
No, Tsunami, nobody wants that.
I don't know. Abaddon's not the most viable hero right now.
You say that, but he's among on the top tiers. He's getting picked up a tasty amount. Thanks, Puppy, for that one. Middle tower taking a bit of a beating as Detonator looking to trade the buildings back into their favor.
Very even approach for them. If they kept just trying to lane it out, it wasn't going to work. All their individual lanes were too weak. So grouping up, on the other hand, that's the right plan. As now Doom again taking abuse.
Yeah, they're not letting out, but he's already using Midas, so doesn't really care.
Right.
Do what you must. Radiant Courier is dead though.
Yeah.
for Ursa. Velo finding the courier in the middle lane. That stings, but Detonator, no signs of slowing down as they just rotate up to this top lane now. They've got this Yoshimoto.Detonator on their Enigma. They've got this Vengeful Spirit with the aura coming out as well, and they've even got the healing ward if they need it. So the top tier 2 tower is going to fall with this catapult wave. They've made such good use of this 10-minute catapult wave. It's actually ridiculous.
Yeah, this feels like a turbo game almost.
Yeah.
An incredible pace that both teams are keeping right now.
Yeah, both of them keeping up with each other. Samage going for the TP out will be successful, and yeah, RR's getting out as well, so no return kills coming away off Tigers.
They're all group, and they'll just turn this into a push, and I don't really know if Detonator want to contest it. They can't go mid because the mid tier 1's already down. Jug's already pushing out bot, so I guess they will defend it, and it looks like they are moving up top.
Yeah, the tree is coming down onto the Sven here. Denny closing the gap. The Crepify life drain, fly solo. It's going to drop very quickly as Wrath of Nature finishes the job and takes down the Sven. There's now another tower opened up. Got the Treants, they've got the blast, but with Ben-Hur coming in, he's also got the X marks onto Velo. Velo is just telling his team to leave him right now, I think. Doesn't get the enrage off before stun hits actually, so it's going to be a slow burn as the swap comes in. But now actually gunning onto the Enigma. He has the black hole to keep himself alive, but they will secure them the kill onto Velo and stop any support coming in to help that out. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Doom out onto the Juggernaut here. They've got him down with the stun. They've also got a finger. Should they want to use it? You know he does. He doesn't use it.
Yeah, 437 knows.
He is.
It's not about the buff. This game's gonna be over so fast it doesn't matter if he has 2 stacks, 3 stacks.
Man, the most patient line player I ever did see.
If it was Yapster, he would have done it in a heartbeat.
Oh, you know it.
I'm a little bit surprised that Tigers didn't help out the Ursa more up top, because Pugna still had life drain, still had at least half the mana pool available to toss out some more Nether Blasts, but instead they back off. I guess, you know, maybe the threat of the black hole was enough, and now that black hole's down, they're a little bit more likely to group up, but instead they're just taking Roche, and
yeah, this is a very sneaky Roche.
On Radiant's suspected thing. Avenge is walking over.
Sniff it out, fly solo. Oh, no. Well, they're going to get away with it. A smoke in and a TP in, and that is a easy Roche, and it's just going to go down way too quickly for Detonators to notice that anybody's missing in time. So that's going to be an Aegis in the hands of this Ursa. Phase boots, drums, Aegis, he's just going to run you down now.
They are still somewhat lacking in initiation. They're basically relying on Nature's Prophet to get behind the back TP into a Sprout. But as soon as either the Lion or the Ursa or the Doom get a Blink Dagger, then all of a sudden things become very different.
Absolutely well. Those big items. Is Doom going for it? Yeah, it looks like he is. He's got 1,900 in the bank. Stun out though. They're jumping him again, and this Doom might be going down once again as the Omnisash comes out. They've got him held down, and they will be able to find his kill. And actually, the Omnisash keeps on going as Raven loses a lot of health as well. But now Juggernaut needs to spin himself away. Running down, but there's a lot of heroes. But never mind, the boat coming in to help the day. Oh, the finger! Not quite enough to finish the job there. The grab fire was a little bit too late. You can tell they were going for there, but didn't quite pull it off as well as they needed to. And 1437 will die for that finger. Now, looking for more. Torrent being used. Velo moving in the right direction. This guy's got an Aegis, but he's probably going to die twice. He actually pops the Empower to try and kill the Sam Aegis as quickly as possible in Rage. And Weather's finally get brought down by a right click. And under this tier 1 tower, oh, he wants to go in. They want to help so badly. Denny from the high ground as well. They're trying to bring down the Ursa with the grab fire and life drain. Denny keeping him alive for the time being. Now the Doom comes out. They're going to actually get the Juggernaut with this Doom. And 458 will be chasing him down here. And I think this is the end for him. They try to get the deny, but it comes off way too early. And now the Sven dropping low. He's going to die as well. Ben-Hur needs to run himself away from this one. Doom trying to close the gap. They will land the Infernal Blade and somehow miss the Torrent as well up onto the cliff. Well, RR going for the TP out. He's successful, but the grab fight. Now the trees come out onto the Conquer as well. Tigers turn this fight around, and they have got this Conquer. It's taken a long time, but the Pirate, they'll finally go through his defenses, and Denny gets a kill onto Ben-Hur, and Tigers get 4 heroes in this bottom lane engagement. But how many did Tigers themselves lose? So they lost 3 heroes and died on 2 of them.
Yeah, it was quite an investment. Buybacked? Yeah, Ursa did buy back, and so did the Doom. Or way earlier in the fight, because Doom was the first person to die, so he bought back. I mean, it goes in the interest of what they're trying to do this game, which is end it in like 28 minutes. But that does hurt quite a bit, and it does slow them down quite a bit. And Black Hole is up now if RR wants to show up to this defense, but his TP's down, so chances are that he's gonna leave it.
Yeah, they want to find some a bit more fighting out. Although I say that he's coming in from behind here, and 1437. Well, they've got Velo. He wants to try and can't really get them both, but Velo is just going to get balled down here. Although he was managed to pop the enrage, was going to buy him a little bit more time. But Swap comes out, puts him into a weird situation. Meanwhile, 1437 is balled down by the rest of the team, and one more right click will do the job. RR gets that kill, and then it's going to be 1437 and Velo dying here in the middle lane. So again, the trade comes swinging back the other way, and we're enjoying watching this win probability from Dota Plus here, as they now say it's 69% for Detonator. Nice. And into the middle lane, pushing it down. They've got the catapult wave once again. It's great timing.
Again, whenever the Ursa was invading the jungle, the Pugna was not pushing. Like, the bot tier 2 was left completely unattended. Granted, Dendi didn't have the most vision, but you know, once you see the Ursa dragging that much focus, then you'd think it would be pretty safe to push the tier 2. But he's playing far more defensively than what their strategy seems to be implying. And now Detonator are trying to hold this high ground position, but unfortunately Tigers already have a ward up there.
What's 1467 doing here? He's going to come onto the high ground. Oh, the fight breaks out. He actually sees the Enigma. They've got it held down with Velo coming in as well. They will be able to bring down the Enigma quickly. Meanwhile, Doom out onto the Conquer this time. There's Velo's here to catch him, and he's going to try and chase him down, but in comes the Juggernaut. In comes that Omnislash running back to the team. Someone take this off me, but there's nobody there. And Sam H actually finds a kill onto Velo there. Nice little rotation in, and again, you know, this disconnect in Tigers feels very apparent in that fight because they came around the back with a beautiful pick up onto the Enigma, and then Velo was there to catch the Doomed Conquer, but the rest of the Tigers have backed off. They weren't committing to that fight, and if they did, I think that would have gone great for them. They had the Conquer, but unfortunately, the communication or whatever, the call was not to go in, and that does result in Velo just dying alone. Sad. Ben-Hur.
Maybe too little too late.
They certainly are. Ben-Hur just running away a million miles an hour. The Stormhammer comes down onto Dendi, and he's probably going to be falling down here. The X-Mark's going to bring him back, drag him into the Conquer's arms, and then comes a Tidebringer to finish the job. Meanwhile, TP out does keep the Lion. I think that was who was with him there. Pretty sad. Tigers. I mean, it was looking good for them at some stage, but right now it's just a couple of fairly convincing fights from Detonator in 1437. Stun is out onto him here, and they can get this easy kill, no problems at all. Raven and Unit and Velo are nearby, but there's very little they can do about this. There's another X, this time onto 458. He just wants to get Midas off. He's not even interested in the fights right now. He's going to pop the BKB and run down onto Sam H here and quickly eat himself up that pack leader aura. Going forwards, 1437 flies back as well as the boat lands onto nobody. The BKB runs off, not having achieved a lot, and there's a black hole only landing onto the next puppet and stunned up by 1437. Fly Solo gets a beautiful turn to 3 before he dies, but I don't think it's going to be enough to turn this fight around as Yoshimoto holds in the backlands. RR is probably going to drop here. The lab drain comes through. They're cleaning up everybody. Raven does die on the side of Tigers, but 3 heroes on the side of Detonators. Now looking for Ben-Hur as well. Nice torrent going to throw up the Doom though and stop him being able to chase any further, so they will have to give up here, but still a victory for Tigers. This game keeps going thrown one way or another. It's a bit of a roller coaster.
Someone desperately needs a Blink Dagger on Tigers. Then this thing becomes much easier as Juggernaut prowling. He does not have Omnislash for another 15 seconds though. And so Kunkka's toying with them right now.
Just waiting for the net worth graph to update.
7 seconds. 5 seconds. Can Dendi get the decrep off fast enough?
Oh, okay. Well, not going to bother with the decrep. Just do it the old-fashioned way. Yep, now comes the decrep, and there's the spin coming out as a stun also blows him up. Sven, though, being run down, so they will trade. No, not a nice trade, but still a trade all the same, and now he just runs into the stun. But then comes the Doom, they get it onto the Juggernaut here. Where's the follow-up? They're going to use the finger as well. They're throwing everything into the Juggernaut here. The cold kitchen sink, but he's running his way into the... But 458 is chasing. Meanwhile, Sam H brought down to the backlines, and they found him in the trees. The crit comes down as if it was needed on top of the Infernal Blade to finish off that Juggernaut. And dual TPs. Oh, look at these guys. They're so in sync. But he used the Shrine without him, so never mind.
Oh, this is crazy. 38
Where's
kills.
This? Yeah, now I really want the worth graph to update. Have you seen it? It's like a heartbeat monitor.
Yeah, but it's only 1K up and down each way, though.
This game is,
I've never seen the
close.
scale be this tiny at 22 minutes. It's usually it's like 4K on both ends or something like that.
Yeah, that's the usual. Meanwhile, there's a lot of Popper's Velo gets really low to Ben Hur here and has to use the Enrage. And Ben Hur's just waiting. He's just watching him. He's like, do what you want, little bear. I'm ready for you. Though he does guess
50-50.
incorrectly with the torrent. What a juke.
What a juke.
I don't know. He ate through two trees to get here. So still making his way around. Ben Hur's just like, well, I just got juked. That's definitely the way you just sit there in the trees seeing, well, maybe he might, I don't know, show himself. There's nothing really I can
Surely he'll farm this wave right after I almost killed him. I'm surprised that the Ursa is choosing to go for the BKB. I'm also surprised that Doom chose to go for the BKB. I thought one of them at least would go for a Blink. But 458 is still not going for a Blink. He's going for a Shiva's, which will be nice. And it's not going to be as effective as it would against most Jugs. This Jug is going Maelstrom. So there's still going to be plenty of magic damage coming out mid Omni Slash. But at least whenever, you know, Omni Slash ends, then a lot of the physical damage from Detonator is pretty much going to be all in the Jug, who's getting slowed by Shiva's Guard. But still, the initiation is heavily lacking from Tigers. You can't keep relying on Raven TPing in super deep because he keeps dying, and he's holding all your auras. He just picked up a pipe, which is really impressive that he managed to farm it. But he has that, he has the Vlads, he has the Urn. Raven needs to stay alive in these fights, but if he's initiating, then it's a tall order for him to actually, you know, stick around long enough to make these items useful.
That's the curse of the Prophet, really. It's all about where you TP. It's all about what part of the fight you choose to get yourself into. And it sounds easy, you know? It's literally a point-and-click adventure when you're playing Nature's Prophet and TPing into things. And now we have a smoke coming up. But it takes a lot to get the right balance between efficiency and suicide.
Yeah, and hopefully someone builds a Blink on the side of Tigers to make that balance a little bit easier. And
Blythe's only getting seen by these trees here. And I love what they're doing right now on the Prophet as well, because he's down at bottom. He smoked down to the bottom lane and started pushing out immediately, but used the trees up on top lane to get the scouting, and now perfect target to go into the Hex, comes out with a spot to save the day. And now they turn this around on PS. I mean, when the Omni Slash coming through for the Doom before the Doom off, decides to use it onto the Conquer instead this time around as a nice pulse comes in. But the Doom is getting chunked away at by the Juggernaut. There's the Black Hole only coming out onto Velo, but it does allow Conquer to come in and get some damage off. 458 has gone down, but does fly back into this fight. They want to keep this one going as Velo slowly but surely is going to die here as Ara gets a double kill. Meanwhile, two heroes stunning each other. The Magic Missile and the Ground Spike coming out onto the other. As Jug just trying to chase down this Doom, and Doom just brought back into this fight. I'm not sure he wants to do this though. Stun comes out for 7. Can he do anything here to hold them back? No, he cannot, and a dieback from the Doom is very costly for Tigers. Meanwhile, in the backlines, Raven tried to find something to make this fight work for them, try to draw their detention back, but only ended up adding another log to the fire, which is the team of Tigers so far. And now they go off into the high ground for Detonator.
they push very fast. They've got
You could say that.
Vlads, they've got maxed out Vengeance Aura. Jug has, you know, attacks you with the Maelstrom. They are munching through this tower. And Thrax. Move on to the next. They know to come back for a while. And they know no one has a Blink Dagger to really initiate these fights. Without the Doom, without the Prophet, no one can start a fight on Tigers. Pugna's just a sitting duck. If he goes for a Life Train, there are like 1,000 ways to disable him.
One last fight, and that's all it took. And now, middle and top are both going to be facing against Super Creeps.
Ursa gets found.
Cost. Yeah, has got the range to work with. Is going to throw it off nice and early here, and Kunka just runs himself away with that Shadow Blade. Poke the bear and run.
Well, this is astronomically harder now for Tigers. 2 Raxes down, and this team cannot really deal with Raxes down. Pugna is your best bet. Ursa's not great at it. Neither is Doom.
So with I think maybe between the Pugna and the Prophet, they can kind of hold, but yeah, not really enough. They need, and also with the Prophet not going for any kind of, he's just got the Vlad Miz, and that's about it. Makes it very difficult. And yeah, the Treants are their best bet as they're winning a single.
And Pugna also went for like item. He went for Greaves as opposed to Aether Lens or Kaya or something like that. So even his damage is kind of neutralized. But they will attempt to get a cheese. The boat is available and kind of rolling in.
See what happens here. Fly Solo staying on the front lines. Meanwhile, this top lane is slowly pushing in, so it's something they will have to deal with. But luckily, we've got a catapult to hold them back a little bit longer. Is Velo really just going to get this one? They don't actually have a blink to get past him, so yeah. Sprout just doing work here, and the Aegis of Cheese going into the hands of Velo. Even with the BKB to try and turn this one around. Fly Solo dropping low. Nice stun on the 2, holding the Juggernaut on the Venge in place as the Doom comes out onto the Jug, forcing him back. No Omni Slash for you. And Tigers, I think they'll be happy with just leaving this one as is. And then the Centaur stomps up Velo here, and the swap down onto the Doom as well, bringing him back up as the stun comes in from the Vent as well. Stunning up to Velo and Doom in some real trouble here. They're trying to control up the Enigma in the backline, and now that Omni Slash comes through, does find its way to the Ancients, but comes back. Unfortunately, 7 is dead. Now they look towards Sam H. Sam H drops as well, as then her drags another one back into the fray, and it's the Nature's Prophet as he gets brought down as well. Does find himself a little bit more time in the trees. 4-star. TP away. Oh no. Well, the tip comes out as well as down goes the Prophet, and they might have taken Roche, they might have taken a bit of the wind out of Detonator's sails, but they are still on a Dreadnought heading straight into the Dire base right now.
Oh, they're going for tier 4s. They're not even botting with the bot lane.
I don't know.
Or...
These drawings don't really tell us a whole lot.
Yeah. It was like, we own this entire half of the map.
Yeah, this us.
They back off. Roche, I mean, was successfully taken, and Velo still does have the Aegis. I don't know. Oh yeah, Doom has the shields. Okay. Dude, I don't know what to make of this no blink dagger situation. Every single time they doom someone, then Juggernaut or Kunkka or Enigma, they're just like, all right, fine. You know, for the next 16 seconds, I'm gonna peace out, and if you can't finish the fight in that time, I'm coming back with vengeance. That's what keeps happening. They'll doom them, and then Tigers can't end the fight. They're just running around, getting kited, getting X'd, getting popped away from their targets, and after the doom ends, all of a sudden they're like, oh, we've massively overcommitted. We forgot that there was one hero basically missing from the enemy team.
Yeah, right. And you know, everybody talks about the having the ability to, you know, he's just so fast that he can just beat into the fights and find whoever he wants and pop that in range, so you don't really want to go on him anyway. But they've got more than enough controls to play around. They've got the swaps, they've got the stuns, they've got the Stormhammer, and of course the what's that Sven called?
Warcry?
Struggling to click on the guy. I tried about 8 times to click on the guy. Yeah, Warcry. That's the one. For, I mean, just everything to basically fight this Earth up.
4 steps.
Oh my god. I mean, yeah, it's a great item. It's a fantastic item in this game. I absolutely like this pick. So, yeah, Doom is basically choose someone to leave the fight for 7 seconds and then run around for 7 seconds and then lose the fight anyway, so it's really plain. They can find a strong
life drain plus the crap plus Doom, you will probably be able to kill target.
Now they're trying to boil to Benha right now. The Doom does come out, and they've got him on the front lines. Can they bring him down in time, though? He's dropping pretty low. The figure comes out as well, and they will take down Benha. Now looking for more. The Omni Slash comes out, bouncing between everybody here. Might not get any kills, and now he's in deep. He's got to fight up. He's going for the TP out, just going for the straight up. Get yourselves out of here. This fight is lost. A beautiful Sprout going to keep 2 in place, though. Fly Solo getting eaten alive by Velo. He does get the stun out onto 2, but I think it's only delaying the inevitable as the flames will burn him through. Sam H going to drop in here. It looks like there comes a stun, and there comes another blast as well, and Sam H taken care of. 3 heroes dead once again. Tigers pull it back, but now they are 2 racks down. Really find anything with this? I don't think they can.
They can't find objectives. They're just going to need to be content at the fact that they were able to win a team fight. They maybe can start parking themselves over the top bounty runes, which looks like that's what they're moving towards. So hopefully 4 bounty runes will be gained out of this, but not much map control, not another tier 3 in return or anything like that. And
unfortunately, competitiveness does not win games.
Yeah, unfortunately, Enigma actually accurately got zoned out by Tigers this time. So this build that he went for is the utility build that we mentioned, as opposed to the initiation build. And so he had no easy way of being able to get in for a black hole. And as a result, not being able to, you know, spend that ultimate meant that Tigers had free reign of the fight for once. Usually it's the other way around.
Yeah.
But that's because usually they were trying to initiate. This was the first situation in which Detonator was the invading team.
Things are up in the air right now. I still think, you know, you're 2 racks down, so Detonator is clearly pretty far ahead, but if Tigers have learned how to fight right now, if they've found a way to make these fights work for themselves, like they did last game where they just went on the Conqueror in the front lines and immediately managed to blow him up and take him out of the fight, that is a very, very good sign for them. And I think this is going to really affect the confidence of Detonator, and they're going for another smoke here on Tiger. And Spencer's going to be popped, as is 1437 here. That does sound like an Aegis running out. As, yep, UNT Davies is gone. Now getting stuck up in the front line. I wonder if they're going to notice this. Meanwhile, the boat comes flying through. Not going to land. They're back holding the back line. They've got the Native Prophet and the Doom Hell still. Both eating up, but the cheese from the Doom going to keep him alive for the time being as he pops that BKB as well. Looking to try and find a kill for now. Who will they go for here as they've, well, holding on to the Doom. Finally, it comes off cooldown, and they've got their options open. They have the Conquer. They're going to throw it down, but Dendy, he's dropped on the front line from just from the spend. The 5-position spend. He's eating Dendy alive, but he doesn't manage to get the Crep Fire to keep himself alive, and now comes in the life drain as well. Spend 4-star away, but the Infernal Blade comes out and a Yules as well. He's not getting himself out of this one as he's slowly gonna die eventually. It took way longer than it should have. Thanks, Dendy.
He ended up killing himself from the Nether Ward, but yeah, unfortunately, Jug. So Omnislash was just a little bit on cooldown, and I guess like it had 5 seconds left, and then as soon as it came off cooldown, the only person that Jug was near was the Lion. And so Jug was like, well, whatever, I have to go for this, otherwise he's gonna, you know, hex me and stun me. So he went for the Omni Slash. He got 2 slashes off, killed Lion immediately, and then had no easy way to get back into the rest of the fight. So Ursa was zoning out the Juggernaut, and despite there being a pretty successful black hole, they weren't able to kill the Doom off before he ate cheese. And
yeah,
that was ultimately the downfall. And now it looks like Tigers are making an exceptional comeback.
Yeah, I mean, let's bring up that network graph once again. It is actually now in Tiger's favor, so it needs to update once more, but yeah, finally bringing things back to the swap. The Velo under tier 4s right now, taking damage from just about all of Detonator right now, but he's going to be able to pop that in range, and that BKB. And actually, what the hell is going on? What was that?
I have no idea.
Rainbow of
Bridge Spirit Vessel.
Jesus. Alright, well, 1437. He's being purged up by this creep. That's a very sad death. Doesn't manage to stun the Conqueror and mess up his combo, but unfortunately, delaying the inevitable as 1437 does go down to the Blade of Ben-Hur. And small victory, but it's something which Detonator will certainly take right now, and maybe even try and do something with.
Yeah, they just completed the Blink Dagger on Enigma. It's coming out on the Courier, so that's a huge spike that Tigers may not be aware of. And since... Oh, actually, R did not go for the cooldown reduction. Okay, well, whatever. He has Black Hole available in 30 seconds, so he is able to hide this Blink Dagger. It could be a game-winning play.
Yeah, literally. Let's see it.
Let's check it. Blocking out Radiant Vision. He still hasn't shown himself yet. Creeping.
Okay, they see him now, but the fight's already started. They might not get a chance to fight this one as the Doom comes out onto Vengeful Spirit. Trying to take this fight right now as the Omni Slash comes flying through. And there's a lot of damage coming down onto the Doom. Doom in trouble, needs to back himself away. Juggernaut just chasing him down. 458 is dead. Meanwhile, Ben-Hur will die, but Velo's not looking particularly healthy either. Now the Black Hole comes out, only catching out the Pugner, but that will do. Yules comes out, but Juggernaut is on top of him. And now, well, the Degrapify gonna just let him help live a little bit longer, but there comes a crit. Down he goes. Pugner buys back, but Doom does not have his available.
Hello.
Meanwhile,
this Fly Solo is flying solo right now. Oh my god, God's strength is up.
Get him.
Run.
The
He's
5.
running.
The 3. But this
Place
is
the ward. Go. Oh!
You didn't realize they had vision? He does. He can take this. Satanic Juggernaut. That's something you don't see very often. Then just taking a fair amount of magic damage here, and they've got the trees out as well. Sam H probably going to be going down as the Spirit Vessel should take him away. I know the Healing Ward's going to work, and they will eat through the Crimson Guard and the War Cry. Meanwhile, their hopes and dreams still hanging on for this game.
I legitimately have no idea what to make of this game. I don't know who's winning.
It's fun.
Yeah, that's for sure.
One of those games where you kind of just go, well, you know, we analyze it to an extent, but there's a stage where you just kind of strap yourselves in and enjoy the ride.
This is a spectator experience more than anything else. It's a show match as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, probably a little bit sweaty for the teams, you know, sliding around in their gaming chairs a bit.
So what's the Blink Dagger situation? Because that's as indicated, this is the thing that I'm most interested with. Okay, so Bello has a Blink Dagger on the Ursa. That's a big step. Doom is fine. Okay, so now things become much easier for Tigers, in theory. But theory and execution are two wildly different things, as this game has shown us.
Yeah, that's true. The ability to just kind of annihilate this Doom target is definitely much greater.
That's the game plan, though. You let 458, you know, muscle his way through. He doesn't have a Blink Dagger, but it doesn't matter. He's got Radiance, he's got Shivas, he's got BKB. He'll be able to just bulldoze his way to whatever target finds fit. Jug, I think, is primary target number 1, because if they Doom, I imagine that Velo will be able to get a bash with his basher, and they should be able to finish off the Jug.
Ooh, jumping in though, going straight away into the middle lane. They've targeted up Vengeful Spirit, and they will be able to bring him down without any commitment really here, except for the BKB from the Doom. But the immediate buyback, and they actually doomed up Kunkka. I didn't see that. He got the BKB off before he got doomed though, so he was just able to run himself away from the fight. Costly. Costly.
And Roche is up, and Doom is down, and Black Hole is up. So Detonators will go in, think about if there's an opportunity, but they would rather have a pick first. And Dire successfully scan it out, so they know that Detonator are in the Roche pit vicinity. Profitable place. Trance in there.
Wow, this Roche is dropping quick. That's the power of the bench. Anti-armor. Do have extra damage as well. They need to come in now if they want to try and do something about this, but they're being a bit too slow about it. And now we're down. Oh, he jumped in! Alistar doesn't manage to get anything. He'll get a refresher charge. He's going to be able to get a second BKB and a second enrage here. Finger comes out onto the spend. Velo still in the middle of this fight, fighting it up. It's still plenty to work with, but they now need to maybe back themselves away. Omni Clash onto the Doom all alone. Stun comes out. He's going to have to go down here. The rest of the team makes his way out of this one. A nice little block off on the high ground there, using trees and the Nether Ward. Fly Solo gets brought down as Velo finds himself a kill.
You got the cheat.
Very split fight right now. BKB used from Ben Hur, but he's still caught inside the trees. They've got him. They're holding him still. Swap comes out. Torrent out onto Raven as well, but don't really achieve much though. Sam 8 still held still here. He's under a ward as well, but will swap himself away with death as they swap around a little bit, shooting up things here. Doom running into this fight once again. Yeah, Velo's chasing down the Enigma, but he can just turn around and back on him if he wants to. He's got the opportunity, but he's going to die to the Radiant. Same, I think. Now they're chasing it down. Sam 8 also low on HP as well. He's going to die to the strike as well. Dust being used. Juggernaut. Who's this guy spinning through? But he's got an Aegis and a Satanic, so that's a tricky kill indeed. They're still going to go for it as the Hex comes out. Stun going to come in from Fly Solo. Doesn't keep the Juggernaut alive for the first time. Maybe he'll be able to help with the second. Fire back from the Enigma though. You got to be careful with this one. The 4-star all day. In comes the Enigma, but no attempt at a black hole just yet. As Juggernaut, he's dropping. He pops the Satanics and the healing ward as well. Everything he can to keep himself alive, and will be able to survive this engagement. They're going to make a play onto 458 here? I do not think so. Base is actually fine for the Dire through all of this, by the way. If you're worried about super creeps, you needn't be.
You say that, it's tier 4 damage. It's adding up.
It's true. It's true.
66 kills in a 39-minute game with a basically 0 net worth advantage for either team. It's so weird. It's so back and forth. Whenever the fight starts out, it's impossible for Tigers to do anything. You have to deal with Warcry, you have to deal with Crimson Guard, you have to deal with Kunkka Rum. There's an obscene amount of damage mitigation on the side of Detonators. And so for the first time fight, everything looks great. And Tigers is just running around like headless chickens. But then, eventually, Detonator run out of all those mitigation tools, and Tigers cashes in a few buybacks typically, and all of a sudden it swings back wildly the other way. Pugnus suddenly the hero again, all the BKBs go down, Ursa is able to not get kited infinitely.
Unfortunately, Dota Plus does not agree with you. He currently thinks it's 90%. Okay, it's gone down a little bit. Previously it was like 97%, now it's a 90% win chance for Detonator.
What? Oh, the rats are down?
Yeah.
That influences it.
Statistically, yeah, Rex equals lose.
No, this is still definitely anyone's game. The most important thing is just who has buybacks. So, according to the meters, Tigers is pretty cashed out on buybacks. They have it on Profit, and they'll have it on Line in a little bit. Whereas Jug and Kunkka still have buybacks available on Detonators, and that's the most important thing. So, next fight, theoretically, could be game deciding.
Ooh, Unity, Velo, and 458 in a risky place right now. The whole of Detonator was smoked up on this low ground here, but they didn't find the opening. Yeah, I also want to mention as well, they've got two Midases, which no, Doom sold as Midas. Weird.
So you got the Divar bonus full talent. That's what the Midas is. You know, it's just a stopgap to get you to level 10, and then you're like, you've served me well.
Yeah, goodbye. Send you into the void. And
by the way, shout out to this
Doom
Jug
GPS,
having
no surprise.
41% status resistance between Sage and Yasha and Satanic.
Yeah, it's gonna be a quick old Doom. And this game is slowing down as both teams kind of tiptoeing around each other now. It gets to that stage where you're 41 minutes into the game, you know. It becomes a fight, you know. I don't want to waste 40 minutes of my life playing Dota and not get a win here. They're playing so carefully.
Tigers is playing for the regional slot, and Detonators, they need to still win 2 games. Plus Solo gets caught out, Warcry gets purged off.
Going on to Sam H, and that BKB trying to bring down the Vengeance Spirit Figure coming through as well, but now the Omni Slash coming onto the Doom doing so much work. He is just about going to survive long enough to get the Doom out of the gun, but actually surviving a lot longer as he makes his way up. And thanks to the Grab Spike, but now they look towards Bello instead. The SFB out here. But they can't find the damage, and these two crab flies from Dendy doing work in these fights, stopping the right click damage through.
Detonators is full HP. This healing ward, it heals so much because they're all so tanky, and healing ward is percentage of max health. And so just barely being around the healing ward for a little bit gives you back so much raw HP. And then again, it all goes with damage mitigation. All those ways, like Ursa was trying to attack the Sven and trying to attack the Enigma, but between the Crimson Guard and all these other stuff, he was just like, it's not worth my time, I gotta go.
But yeah, he's it's those moments as well, you know. They couldn't quite save the Venge, but the Venge has been the save basically for everybody else. If they do go on the Venge, then there's no one to usually they're going to get themselves a kill. But then what? Like you got Sven, who's got a 4-star and is super tanky and can walk right. You've got Crimson Guard knocking around in the Enigma as well, with the Breeds as well to charge to purge himself off. The Juggernaut ain't dying anytime soon. Like after you've blown up that Venge, which is what the S wants to do in these fights, the S is like, oh well, you know, I guess I'll just start whacking. So yeah, pretty much.
Take it away, boys.
Picks the feet up.
I mean, the Pugna in this game, but I have yet to really see how much damage Denty's able to do. It's a difficult game, but he doesn't have like a BKB or anything. So if he stands in place to life drain, like I said, there are so many ways to deal with it. You can just plop a Midnight down, pulse down on this Pugna this game. The Nether Ward is not that big of a deal. It's all these strength heroes with relatively low mana cost spells, and it's so late in the game that they have enough base mana to begin that it doesn't really matter about the mana reduction or degeneration aspect of it.
Bello's like really kind of baiting out the Juggernaut here in mid. He keeps kind of running at him, and then the Jug's kind of like backing away from him, but kind of keeping his eye on the farm, but kind of just noticing this angry Ursa on the sidelines, just kind of edging towards him every now and again. He's like,
it's a mutual respect.
Yeah. They come. Well, Wave of Terror thrown out. They see Bello here, but they don't want to go onto this Ursa. He's just too tanky, is it? And they come. The Doom actually cancelled that. They didn't be able to get it outside as the Omni Slash comes out. They can't find a target right now as the boat comes in. He's being stunned up for such a long time, but then the crack fire again, saving him from that right click damage from the and with the Sprout also. Meanwhile, Velo gets a kill on the backlines onto Sam H. Over on the front, they're still controlling up this Doom, stopping him being able to get into this fight as the the Spirit Vessel ought to stop the Juggernaut healing himself, and they actually managed to bring down the healing ward as well, which is really important. And the Juggernaut has no way to heal himself up except with his Satanic. Not the ideal situation for them to be in right now, but Detonator will get a free back from this fight as they do not want to chase any further on Tigers.
Roche potential to respawn in 15 seconds, and Venge does buy back, so it's one setback for Detonators. This Enigma needs to stop being so skittish with his black hole. He's waiting for like a perfect situation, but it's becoming difficult because there's all these like random sources of damage that are breaking his Blink Dagger, and so as a result, he's like, now's my chance. Oh wait, something broke my Blink Dagger.
And they go 1437, beautiful stun onto 2 here. Bello here to with the Abyssal Blade onto the Vengeful Spirit as well. Can they bring Sam H down in time? No, she gets to get the stun up onto Velo. He on the backlines, trying to chase down 1437. Then her chasing down the Lion. Is there going to be anything in to save this Lion? Well, Doom's on top of his base here, and he does not have a Doom to work with this fight. He just used it in the last one. Meanwhile, Velo trying to chase down the Enigma once again. Stun's coming out on Rage Fused as well. I think he just needs to drop the Black Hole onto the Ursa here. He just wants to get himself away from this one. As Sven goes down, and there's a Black Hole. That is massive. Onto 3. Enigma letting loose. They take down 2 inside of it. 1437, 458 gone as they look towards Raven. Raven making his way over to the pit. X marks though is going to be dragged straight back into the torrent as well. Up on the high ground, something running away, but they're looking towards Raven. Yeah, the front doing so much work with the swap and the kill. And buybacks are available. This game is not over yet, but they just took a huge step forward on the side of Detonator. Finally, the Black Hole comes in, and it is a stonker.
It was a passive Black Hole for the past, like, 8 minutes. And I, too, thought that he should have used it on the Ursa. I'm amazed that this Blink Dagger didn't end up getting cancelled. I guess he must have realized that he was finally out of Netherward range, so he went for the Malefice on the Ursa. He went further up the high ground and waited, and that was the chokiest of choke points for Tigers to walk into. Yeah, and they got pulled, so the patience finally pays off.
Look at dude, these are aggressive. They jump in immediately with the Hex stun onto 2 as well. 458 coming in. They've got the Doom. They certainly want to use it. The finger comes out on Sam 8, but swaps himself away. And in comes the Omni Slash once again. The Doom held still. They need to come in and share this damage. And he's actually putting him down to half health as the Doom comes out. Boats flies through. He's actually got the full fleet as they run into this one. Velo surrounded by 4. They get dropped. Dendy can't do a whole lot from the sidelines here. The buyback from Velo. Dendy could be in some trouble. Does not have, does have buyback on the Pugner here, but will be able to get himself all the same. Another buyback from the Ursa this time. This Roche could be massive. Gets himself inside the pit.
Oh, he's going for it.
He's a one-man stand. No, this is coming in to help out.
Dire knows that there's at least no vision on this.
Go to 3! They're actually coming in on the backline here. They might have caught what's going on, but they won't have time to do anything about it as Roche is going to fall. 1437 is going to be the only sacrifice for this Roshan, which is very much worth it, but now they're in a sticky situation. They're actually just going to TP power range themselves back to base. And Juggernaut looking at the rags here.
Megas.
Very far forwards on this Jug. They've played if they want to use it on him. They're not going though. BKB pops from the Doom here, running forward. I mean, he's got a refresh shot. He's going to use it and try and get the Doom out. He does manage to get the Juggernaut inside his spin with the Doom, but he could just run himself away. No, he can't. Sprout comes out. Velo, he's trying to get into this fight as he jumps forwards here. He's better up onto the Juggernaut here, but just not doing any damage. So there's a Conqueror in there. One comes out onto 2. Now Doom stunned down. Magic Missile, but that's in trouble. He does manage to get the enrage off in time though. He's also got the Aegis to... They're running forward. Looking for Sam 8 from the the high ground. Oh, getting onto 2. Down goes Cindy. Down goes 458. No buyback on 458. The Lion dead as well. Man, snap, and that is a huge ask to pull off versus Detonators right now. They're trying to come in the backline. They don't even know what to do here. Velo holding back. They're going to get mega... Holding back. I don't even know what he's looking for here on this Earth. Aegis. But the team, they're just running for the barracks here as the sneaky... Oh, you see that refresher orb, dude. The refresher orb comes out, the Black Hole, it's onto 2. And then this might be curtains. The sneaky refresher orb in the trees, Raven being chased into base right now. He's going to sprout himself out. That's actually going to mean he survives, but Dendy does not. A dieback from him, and now inside the base, Juggernaut, he's got that Satanic to work with, but yeah.
Oh, the question mark. Is this a situation to be question marking?
They laugh. It's all in good faith, I think, as GG's are cool. And just before he loses the game, he throws question mark. That's some good comedy right there. Thank you, Raven. We needed that laugh, and then a very stressful game, I would imagine.
Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Radiant team Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. Five
Those like
seconds
DX
remaining.
Racer, Maxnomic bullshit. Those are gimmicky. You go for real office task chairs like Steelcase or Ermin Miller.
Okay, okay. I'll ask you for some links afterwards.
They're expensive, so I don't know what your budget is.
I'll have a look.
Dire
I
team
mean,
pick.
the one I'm setting was like 110 quid, and it's like fallen apart in a year.
Yeah, these go for like 800. Yeah. Though you could probably find used ones, because a lot of times, like, offices that close or go bankrupt or whatever, they'll try to offload all those furniture.
10
So,
seconds
I don't know
remaining.
if there's like a Craigslist equivalent in the UK.
5 seconds remaining.
Well, Dave's list.
Is it really?
No, that's not a thing.
I was about to Google it.
Radiant team pick.
Imber Spirit.
Ten seconds remaining.
I love copy pasta. Hello ESL, I'd like to report a bug.
5 seconds
There's this
remaining.
Dota thing interrupting my ad marathon. If you want to start a break screen, then be my guest.
Radiant team ban.
Shadow Fiend.
Okay, final ad starting now. Hello
10
and welcome
seconds
back to
remaining.
the SEA Open qualifiers for ESL 1
5
Birmingham as we
seconds
get
remaining.
through to the final game of this best-of-3 series between Tigers and Detonators. We battle it out to find out who's going to make it through to
Ban.
those qualifiers.
Radiant team
So far,
ban.
we've had Dendy on a Shadow Fiend, we've had Dendy on a Pugna, and now we're going to see Dendy back to the Shadow Fiend again. Meanwhile, they've also picked up the Vengeful Spirit, but I think this is the third game in a row they've taken the Vengeful.
Third game in a row that Venge has shown up.
Yeah.
Detonator got the Venge last time.
That was on the other side of things last time around.
SF did work in game
remaining.
1, and against an Ember, now that you already know the mid lane matchup, which is
5
peculiar
seconds
from
remaining.
Detonator to show it this early. I absolutely like the Shadow Fiend response.
Yeah, I mean, might not be in the middle lane on the Ember Spirit. I mean, you can move this one around if you want to, but I think they probably, I don't know, it's not the worst matchup in the world. Like, the Ember Spirit can certainly do fine from this mid, but fine is about it.
Yeah, and you don't want to be just doing fine
Team
against the Shadow
ban.
Fiend.
Yeah.
We saw how that went in game 1, and Dendy was able to get to an exceptional start. Though it seemed like Detonator were pretty dead set on picking this Ember because they banned out Oracle first phase. And I don't really think you do that, especially after the 7.21D nerfs. Unless, I mean, I know 1437 does play a fair amount of Oracle,
10
but still,
seconds remaining.
first phasing it is peculiar, so they really wanted to protect this Ember,
5
and
seconds remaining.
they pick it first phase, and now Shadow Fiend is in response. So
Dire team pick.
we'll see what Detonator want to do with it. Who do they pick in game 1? Because I definitely saw some heavily failed ganks on that SF in game 1. So
Yeah,
game 1, the matchup. So it was
Venge Leshrak, wasn't it?
Yes, on the side of Tigers, it was Venge, Lesh, Tide, Jug, SF. And so they still had the
10
Venge SF
seconds
combo.
remaining.
Although Leshrak has been banned out, as has Tide.
5
So
seconds remaining.
Detonator, at least consider those to be the problems. I don't know if those are the problems. And then for Detonator, they picked up Nyx Ember as opposed to Wyvern Ember, and then they followed it up with Lich, Troll, and Darkseer. And so I can definitely see their strategy. They want to dump a bunch of stuff on their Ember Spirit, like a Frost Shield and an Ion Shell in game 1. This situation, Wyvern will provide some protection, but only physical protection, and Shadow Fiend does not care that much about physical protection, nor does Venge. Will embrace someone, or if you curse someone, Venge can very easily just swap either the enemy or the ally out of position.
Yeah, we've seen that coming into play a lot in the last game as well, especially versus that Ursa as well. If you can just get them away from danger, and it really does kind of ruin the impact of heroes like that.
Too bad Silencer's a dead hero. Otherwise, something like a Global Silence could be pretty useful.
Detonator
Silencer did
really
get
burning
some
through
buffs. I think his glaives do more damage now. They do like 80% when maxed, but still a dead hero.
I know Glaives is the most altered spell in the history of Dota.
Radiant team
I don't believe that. I don't think that's true.
Well, might not be, but I just said it, so. Someone sent me a patch log the other day saying I think Glaives is the #1 most altered spell in Dota history, and it should have been just a tiny little bit, just the damage change, like, you know, a tiny bit, a little bit up or down over so many patches now. It's actually insane.
I mean, you want to talk about people getting reworked? Look at this big green boy who showed up. That man.
Hello, sir.
Do you know how crazy it is that literally every one of his spells has had a stun on it at some point? Initially, it was the grip. Came out.
Oh yeah.
And then it was the. Okay, Magnetize never had a stun, but
10
his
seconds
basic
remaining.
spells, his
Fake news.
non-ultimate spells, all had a stun at some point. When he was released in
5
Dota 2, it was the grip,
remaining.
and then it became the smash for the longest period of time, and now it's the roll. How crazy is that? That they needed to make his stun
Radiant team
that
pick.
much worse. And
Alright,
he's still
Magnetize
a
now,
hero.
kids. Let's go. Let's make it a mini stun every time it does damage.
Ooh. Now, if we ever come to a point in which Earth Spirit needs buffs, it's not a bad idea, but I think you're a decade ahead of your time.
Yeah, I'm not sure that'll ever happen. For the nature of the hero. Also, when's Io come back to Captain's Mode is the real question.
7.22, I would think.
10
But
seconds
who knows?
remaining.
I mean, he didn't get
Really?
touched in D or C, I don't
5
think.
seconds remaining.
No, so apparently they're happy with the way the hero is, but every time I've seen it, it's been pretty strong
Well, too
feeling.
good, yeah.
Yeah.
Dire team
And the other
ban.
problem is that they're buffing heroes while Io's not in the game, which I think is weird, because Gyro got some buffs. And normally you're just like, yeah, you know, I haven't seen Gyro in a while. And then all of a sudden Io comes back to Captain's Mode, and you're like, Jesus Christ, what just happened?
Get this gyro nerfed. Stop the gyro, guys. Stop the
It
gyro.
is interesting though that every single team basically has one extra ban in the game of Dota 2 Captain's Mode though.
10 seconds remaining.
Because if you don't have to worry about banning Io, then all of a sudden
5
everyone's
seconds
first
remaining.
phase becomes a little bit more interesting. Anyway, in terms of this draft specifically, Tigers had...
Don't look.
What?
They went back for the Sven on Detonator.
Oh boy. And it's in a bunch of magic,
Team ban.
but that worked for them last time. Granted, it did not work early on. I think it's just because Tigers were... I guess they thought they were playing turbo mode, but they were smacking their head against the wall and thinking eventually we'll draw blood, but it was a little bit too late, and by the
10
time
seconds remaining.
that it started dealing damage, it became useless
5
because
seconds
Sven
remaining.
was making sure that it wasn't dealing damage. And so eventually it became the point that none of them dealt damage. Ever since, I mean, Sven's Warcry was doing a lot of mitigation, but
It
that's
was.
because he had a lot of strength at, you know, level 20, which, oops.
And
Hopefully
also,
Tigers don't make the same mistake this time.
it's the thing as well where you talked about how the first couple of hits would be negated by the Warcry.
Correct, for the few
And
swipes.
after that, he'd start doing some real damage. But when you got the Venge there, the swap available was absolutely like the key point. So if you could just keep him alive the first couple of seconds whilst the Venge gets in position to swap, then life is pretty good. And that was exactly what they needed and what made the Venge pick even better last game. And now it's in the hand of the other team. They might have their work cut out for them as they take out the Bat Rider. And the Oracle was actually banned out first phase again, this time by Detonator.
remaining.
So no chance to cancel unless they want to go for the Abaddon, but they've already
5
got the
seconds
Wyvern and the
remaining.
Spence. That would mean Abaddon Core, which is not really seen very often.
No, it's not. I guess at the minimum they do have dash, so both in terms of being able to stall out after a Warcry with a Grave, and hopefully being able to save a target who gets lassoed.
Troll's going to final pickup from Tigers to round off this draft, and it does give them some nice kill potential, especially inside that lasso. Just popping the ultimate on the Troll, able to chunk down whoever's inside that lasso. It's very, very useful to have on your team. One thing I'd like to say about Detonators as well, and I don't feel they've drafted into this Shadow Fiend very well at all, to be honest. You've picked
Unless
Wyvern
it's
and
mid-dazzle.
Sven.
5 seconds
Unless it's
remaining.
mid-dazzle. She kind of... Oh, yeah. It's actually looking like it may well be dazzle, doesn't it? Unless then it's core, which...
They banned out Lifestealer on Tigers.
Choose your hero.
This doesn't tell me anything.
Okay, so... Yeah, the Weaver's usually picked up as a response to the Troll, just to juke him out, especially inside his ultimate. Never feel like it's that great versus Shadow Fiend as well, just because of the consistent amount of damage that comes out from SF. Like... And also if he ulties, that 50% damage reduction will still be on the Weaver after he time lapses.
Yeah, I don't really know what the deal is with this Weaver pick. It seems a little tunnel vision-y against the Troll, like you said. But aside from that,
Yeah.
like, there's plenty of stuns. There's ground-targeted silences with Earth Spirit. They've got the swap to basically neutralize
10
some
seconds
distance that a
remaining.
Weaver may create underneath Shikuchi. And then obviously last initiation. So Weaver's definitely going to need a Lincoln's, I would think, very early on. So that's always feels bad, because these days Weavers generally get picked in situations where they can go like Diffusal first, or Maelstrom first, go like no boots or something like that. Games in which Weavers have to go Lincolns are far and few between these.
Yeah, I got to agree. It's just too much. There's just too much on the board for him to worry about. That even a Lincolns. I mean, they've got decent Lincolns pop. Even Swap is a fantastic tool for popping
As
Lincolns
we
when
all
you've got
saw
two of
from
them now.
Dream League, 'cause the charges don't get spent.
Game number 3 between Tigers and Detonator. Going from this draft tsunami, who is your money on?
I'll go Tigers. They
Pretty
were
hard
lacking
thing.
initiation in game 2, and they...
All right, I have to agree with you there. I mean, like the things you said as well. Plus, I mean,
Prepare for battle.
last game they kind of had some communication issues. I feel in the team fight, so a little confusion going on. This time as well, the team fights are so easy to execute. Like you just got to swap into Lasso and then throw down a Requiem on top of that as well. And there's no real chance for Detonators to respond to that one. Even if they get the Grave off, they can't take the fights after the Requiem comes off. So, and they don't have enough stuff. I mean, I guess they can Winter's Curse or something, but it feels risky. And there's no cancel for this this Lasso as well. So once that hero is lassoed, they are going to be held still for rather a long time. So yeah, I too am going to be going for Tigers, but let's see how the game pans out. I mean, things rarely go as they say on paper. And this is going to see Sam H getting caught out pretty early. No, makes his way back to the tower. Smoke popped and nothing gained for it for Tigers here.
Yeah, I'm surprised Venge went to the low ground
30
so
seconds
quickly.
to battle.
Yeah,
I thought
yeah,
they would
same.
be like, oh, okay, we'll just camp over here on the high ground until Dazzle shows up in a more vulnerable position. But they go for it. Raven has an Observer ward. He may be able to place a Deep Observer in this situation to make somewhat use of the Deep Smoke, but no First Blood.
Velo been chased away from the room here, just trying to throw down as many of these sticky napalm stacks as he can as they come and force him off this this bouncy rune. And Velo, he's got 5 stacks on him here. Velo, well, he's now going to back himself away, especially with RR coming in as well. I've actually never tried to pronounce this the carrier Detonator's names through these games, by the way.
Huangba. Huangba. Oh wait, no, he doesn't have a G on the second one. Huangba.
It's quite the name, isn't it?
It's quite the name.
Velo just playing around with both the supports here. Again, then sticky napalm charges up. Just playing around, especially with the Sven. Sven having leveled up the stun.
I don't know why he's playing around.
Yeah, playing with fire here, or ice, as the slows come out from the Arctic Burn. They've got a stun to work with as well. Down comes that Stormhammer. Fairy Fire used just beforehand. They can block him up, but he's just going to run the other way, running down. Maybe he can get a denied to Roche, or maybe he's just going to keep on running. Yeah, actually, this is Fly Solo just backing out completely, and Sven, he's got 7-6 sticky napalm on him. Unity can maybe look to turn this one around, but this is still covered in tar.
Exxon Valdez, right? Max is out at 10. I actually did.
Okay, now we know. Velo's just putting him on for good measure at this stage, but now that the Weaver comes in, there's 3 heroes surrounding Velo. He's going to go for the TP out. He's done. He is done for, and Yoshimoto finally gets washed up with all that sticky napalm charges and kind of starts to look towards Raven now. It's no longer. Did you see his turn rate when he was stuck there?
Yeah, that was.
Raven's gone as well.
Slow.
Salve? Salve, is it worth it? He's at the trees. He's actually escaping this one. Yoshimoto coming in. Stun comes out. Puts an end, and they do get 2 kills here in the top lane. So highly questionable plays, I would say, from the Batrider. But it's easy from Velo. But it's easy just for us to say from behind the sky to see how that one was going to turn out. But you know, they could have gone either way.
They could have. It's a level 1 Batrider. I don't know why he wouldn't just go to the lane. Because, I mean, it is a tri-lane situation, so sure, it's a little bit scary for a Batrider. But what's the point 2 supports? You're not even experienced. If still level 1 where you can't even threaten them with Firefly. So I think maybe he was hoping to cut off the creep wave, and Detonator were intercepting it, and he was just like, well, they'll give up eventually, and then I'll cut off the creep wave. But they did not give up, which they shouldn't have, and as a result, he lost a lot of experience. Like, Huangba is already level 3, and this Batrider's like halfway to level 2.
It's rough. It's real rough, and he doesn't really have much of a lane now, to be honest. He's just going to get stunned up again. Arctic Burn going to slow him down. Gap. Right click's coming through. Velo will be okay, but this means he's under tower with 170 HP again.
And now these supports are going to hit level 2 before this Batrider hits level 2, which is devastating. Raven's trying to salvage the situation by looping these creeps around, but
the run around.
And with this big of a creep wave and Batrider being so low level, I'm pretty sure Detonator will just push with this massive creep wave. His Bat is still gonna have Firefly to draw aggro off the wave. And in the other lane, Sam H. He already died once, gets slowed. No uphill misses, and he dies!
That's unfortunate. That is
that was like 3 attacks and no uphill misses whatsoever.
Was it like a 25% chance to miss up?
25.
Well, did not
Next
get lucky.
one would have missed, I guess, statistically speaking.
Velo being hunted once again. He just wants some XP. He does get level 2, so he can fly around the trees. That is about it.
To get out of experience range and TP back to his tower.
God, he needs to jungle. He needs to jungle. Yeah, I guess he was here to get the level 2, and now he can kind of hit the jungle and go and get some creep waves, right?
He has Firefly on cooldown now, so this big creep wave's gonna come. But they don't get the pull off successfully. Fly Solo doesn't get intercepted. And Ben-Hur.
On the middle lane, we got a rotation in from 1437 with Dendy with a haste rune as well. Doesn't result in a kill. They're looking for Velo once again. They don't want to get the XP from these creeps. The stun comes out, and the Weaver just doing damage from a low ground as well. The Arctic Burn doing so much work, but Velo will be able to make his way across the cliff. Out of vision off the side of the duck. He's actually TPing into this one. Winter Wyvern gets stunned, but Raven has to get this bug off him. He's taking so many hits to get it away. Meanwhile, 47 brought down by Weaver, and now they look towards Raven as well. Raven, I'm not sure he's getting out of this one. Does have a roll available, but decides not to use it. Goes to the kick instead as he goes down. And now they look towards Velo as well. No Firefly to work with. No even anything to be used here as he's going to drop as well. 3 kills back here in the lane of Anada pick off. Get a massive win up here.
Well, at least Tigers will get the bounty runes out of it, but yeah, that happened basically a best case scenario for Detonator. Venge TP'd top, ended up going into the meat grinder. Warcry was doing a lot of damage mitigation against the tower and all these creeps who are aggroing everyone, and Huangba's level 5 now, and Batrider is still just level 2. Although he is gonna jungle now. He does have 1 stack of hard camps, but that's it going for them right now.
Oh, it's gonna be a long road to catch up for Velo, but let's have a look at some other lanes. I think they're looking a little bit more optimistic for Tiger, specifically here.
Ember's jungling right now.
Yeah, right. So Ember's had just as rough a lane as the Batrider has. As expected, you know, Ember versus Shadow Fiend does not work well for Ember. You get to use his Flame Guard in that lane because of the raises, and you know, it gets a little bit more attack damage to start with, but the moment that he starts getting these Necromastery points up, and especially with that early rotation from 1437, it's made the lane fairly easy. And chat is telling me that the Weaver's name means crazy, so thanks guys. Got our on hand.
Good. What language is that? To Google Translate I go.
Enjoy. As Raven's getting chased down a little bit here in the top lane, just thrown back to the trees as Hunger wants. Sudanese, of course, dude. You don't know Sudanese when you see it?
I don't know Sudanese. Huh, okay. Well, he's crazy. Crazy he plays. He's level 6 now, so do pretty much whatever he wants. There's no real reliable way to stop him from time-lapsing, as most Earth Spirits do not get silenced until a little bit later on. And the rest of Detonator are smoking up. Ember and the Sven are trying to rotate on Dendi.
Yeah, they're looking for the kill. 1437 is positioned for help if they need it, but immediately is going in with a triple remnant. Here's armor being used as well. They need to bring them down. They will be so that if this finishes the job with 1437, just cuts his losses and gets away. One thing we mentioned earlier as well, which I just wanted to point out, is they had no save for the Batrider lasso, but actually, you've got a Weaver in the game.
He's not going to go Ags.
You can do that, no?
If he goes Ags, this game is lost. Unless if it's a 6th item Ags. If it's a 6th item Ags, then sure.
I'm just saying, you know, he's going for the budget build to start with. He's got that medallion coming out to him. You know, he could go medallion maybe into a diffusal and then straight in for the Aghanim's. I can see it working.
Most heroes on Weaver, that's well, the Solar Crest is the real luxury, but medallion itself is still immensely value on a Weaver.
Sure,
he might be able to kill Bello.
Well, playing with fire here, he really wants to get these hard creeps, and actually, he realizes he spent enough time on this, and Huangba will back himself away. Dendi with a H Druid in the bottle. We saw how much he did with the last one. Let's see how much he can do with the second one. So we'll throw it over to Net Worth and see the Weaver pretty far ahead. But Troll still doing rather well for himself here at the bottom lane. We haven't really looked at this bottom lane at all, to be honest. But, you know, 458, he's farming up. Sam H, he's in the jungle. Not playing to comment on, to be honest.
Yeah, I think Sam H did not really have very much help, and so it doesn't surprise me that
on
he's
the top
struggling.
lane though, Bello in trouble once again. They've got the bugs on him, they can see where he is, and he's just going to the safe place again where the Weaver cannot reach him. He's just kind of going from like one side to the other side, and they will have to back themselves out. So Bello just playing around that patch of the land. Very nicely there.
Roll in, and then it does not connect though. Poor Ember. No lane to go to, no real jungle camps to take.
Radiant structures are fortified.
I'm surprised they just didn't end up opting to send Dazzle mid instead of Ember. And then just do like a dual situation. Or let Weaver.
It feels like a bad case of people just being too stoked their lanes, which you never see any of the top tier teams doing, and they will always be able to switch it up. They will always be able to switch their core and their cores up to whatever lane they need to go to. And that's just something which needs to be done. Forwards, yeah, looking for Fly Solo here. They get the slow out, and with the raised damage, they actually back themselves off, leaving him on about 10 HP. Another stun comes into Dendi here. A couple more right clicks will be good. Dendi just turns around for the quick raise. Another quick raise. You let him real low on RR right now. Gets healed up from the high from Sam H. Tiger's still looking for this one. They've got the stun in 2 seconds, but the spend is too fast. He's also got an illusion rune as well. However, doesn't do a good job of microing it. And now the rock comes flying through. They've got the stun out. They've got the anti-armor. They get the kill. Down goes RR.
Troll activated battle transfer or something, and I don't know what he was attacking. It may have been Wyvern, because Wyvern is sitting in base all of a sudden, so I guess that's why Wyvern wasn't able to show up, because She is level 6, she has Winter's Curse, and did not really join into any of that. Although the mid Ember Spirit did survive, and I guess that's the most important thing. And that smoke may have been spotted by
yeah, absolutely. He's pinging it out like crazy. 1437. He's letting them all know. Rolling in the middle lane, they want to go for the dazzle whilst this is going on. Doesn't manage to get the brave off. There's another TP coming in. Fly Solo's here as well, but they should be able to finish this dazzle. A couple more right clicks will be required. He heals himself up, and Raven just smacking into the dazzle. Damage getting so low, and there's the curse as well, but the stun comes in from 1437 to finish off the Dizzler. And now Spirit in a bit of trouble here as he's dropping low on HP. The chains, the flame guard, it melts him away. The swap out from 1437, but it's straight into the weighty mandibles of Weaver as he surges forward to try to get the kill, and Dendy will be taken down under his own tower. Now coming up onto the high ground, they're looking towards 1437 as well, and he's not going to be able to get themselves away. Detonator find 3 kills in the middle lane, and that is going to give them a lot more space to breathe in this game. Killing this Shadow Fiend is the absolute key part of this entire like kind of 10 to 15 minutes mark. So they need to get these kills, and they're doing it.
Yeah, and at the same time they're preserving their tower, so it's not like Troll is being able to just mow down a single lane while Shadow Fiend's getting hassled. They're doing a pretty good job of defending everything. All the tier 1s are, you know, at like a third half HP, but it's still objectives that Tigers have yet to claim, which is a marked difference from their game 1 with the Shadow Fiend, in which they were just plowing down the map. Weren't they going high ground at like 18 minutes in that game 1? So close.
Ooh, he grabs it. He might be going down here. Actually, no, with Dendy coming in, he's going to scare back the side of Detonator for the time being.
I did not realize how much Venge's right click looks just like a Rod of Atos projectile.
That's terrifying.
I saw it flying towards Ember Spirit and I was like, holy shit, he has a Rod already.
That's definitely a buff to Venge then.
Ultimately, I don't know when Tigers are going to want to start grouping up, but I do think that they have to start grouping up sooner than Detonator. But I guess the Wyvern makes it a little bit more intimidating. Especially when you have such like heavy targets to take advantage of a Winter's Curse. Both the Shadow Fiend and the Troll, if they
swap in the middle lane. Fly Solo held back into the raids as he goes, and this time they will finish the job. Last time they let him live when they tried this combo, but this time around they do manage to kill the Winter Wyvern. Batrider trying to steal some camps here, but well, stun comes in from the Sven. Manages to take 2 of those creeps. Crazy. Yeah, he's sitting. They get the swap out, but immediately into the Ember Spirit. Needs to swap down this. Stop swapping down this river. 1437 as well. It will go down, but Weaver in some trouble. The Rays won't finish him off though. It gets damn close, but he gets himself out.
He's just gonna have to go back to base.
Well, Troll just taking up in this top lane. Yeah, getting ready on this tower here. Kind of surprised he's not ulting for it, but no one's TPing in, so I guess he doesn't need to.
Party it up, bucko. Dire's top tower has
Damage comes into contact with Raven down here. A couple of stones being thrown, even the Magnetize being thrown out here. Raven is getting busy on this guy. Damage is dropped. Might have to throw this grave out. Will do so as the stun comes in to try and stop him, and Spirit getting things turned around him, especially with Ben Harrow as well. Raven's gonna die, and Sam H able to escape on the sidelines. Oh no, if Terra doesn't quite do enough. Comes out, they've got the Ember Spirit straight into the arms of Dendy. Nice little combo there to get the triple raid combo down. Now RR turns around with the stun, does manage to get the Troll and the Venge. Yeah, Weaver coming in the backline, just causing in some damage and taking the courier as well. Sam H backs himself away. Still hanging out behind, but there's no real pickups to be had after this fight, so he's just going to be wasting his time hanging out back here as he goes back to farm some creeps, and Fly Solo takes the time to go and get some wards down.
He's getting the time to take wards down, but that also verifies that he's not defending this tier 1, so Troll will ult for this because he knows no threat of Winter's Curse, because he also didn't have a TP, although he did spend Battle Trance now. And he's getting tanked by the heroes.
Yeah.
So perhaps overwhelming his hand.
A little bit. He's going to go down, but, well, bounties gotten worth? Probably not. Especially if they're able to grab one on top as well. But forwards, this Raven's being so aggressive on this Earth Spirit, actually. This guy
the jury's still out on how good he is on this. This whole 4-position Raven thing, by the way, I'm assuming you talked about it in game 1.
Not really, no.
Well, it's very weird. I don't know if one of the best carries, in my opinion, in Southeast Asia is playing a 4-position. but he's not doing a bad job. His Nature's Prophet in game 1, I mean in game 2 was fine. He played a Leshrac in game 1 and wasn't really like, you know, you could have picked any hero in game 1 and it would have been fine. And his Earth Spirit, you know, it's doing fine. I have no issues with it. But why is he playing 4? It's so weird.
It's very strange, but then they go just annihilate this Weaver as quickly as possible there, and Raven gets it. What a player! Big for him.
2019.
Yeah, gets the invis.
Crit who? Never heard of him.
That is some Raven wannabe. Into the pit they go with that anti-armor from the Shadow Fiend, able to rip through it fairly quickly, comboing up with the Venge's Wave of Terror as well. Placed on the high ground just to make sure they can see anybody rotating in, and doesn't look like they have any clue about this one. And this has been a kind of, okay, they're spoken over to it, but very slowly. It's Ben-Hur going in. No, he doesn't realize he's going for the bench in the river, and Roshan gonna fall to 4-5-8. They get that kill. Winter's Curse gonna be used to cancel out the lasso, and well, Ember Mayo is able to get high ground, but they've lost Roshan, and Velo is looking for Winter Wyvern here. Although Tangberg coming in from the backlines as well, he's going to be able to dish out a ton of damage onto Velo here. The ultimate being hooked up from Dandy, but they already get the kill onto Velo. That was quick. Now be running forwards.
They only have 1 remnant. They still have to fight into an Aegis.
Time that's forced out from the Weaver as well. Down about a nice chains onto the 2 cores here. Stun thrown down as well. And now they roll forwards into the Weaver here. And nice Screw is going to come out, and Cold Embrace going to save the day. But I'm not sure you want to use these 2 spells together, as he just is there until the Grave runs out and then dies. And Ben-Hur in trouble as well. They're going to get another one. Tigers are doing it as they run forward. 3-man stun is going to be enough to save the Wyvern. It is not. He's going to go down as well. And they're even looking for more. They're chasing forwards onto RR. They want the spend. They want everybody. He's going to go for the TP out, but they get the swap to cancel it up into the arms of Dendy, and they'll be able to get this kill as well. It is 4 heroes down on the side of Detonator, and Tigers find their momentum and then some. They take an Aegis, and they take every single hero on the side of Detonator, except maybe they take everybody. Velo's trying to make it everybody, but I don't think he can.
Nah, Lasso's down. To be able to do a little bit of damage, but Sam H has to go back to base anyway, which means that this top tier 2 may also be under siege, but Winter's Curse is available, so I don't think Tigers should overplay their hand. They got a lot done with that post-Aegis fight. I mean, they still have the Aegis post-Roche fight.
Yeah, it's...
I mean, one of these days there's going to be a curse, and it'll probably be amazing.
There was a curse. It went down onto the Batrider, right, who was trying to lasso someone away.
A curse including either the Shadow Fiend or the Troll.
Gotcha.
I think that's the instrumental part of it. Or it can be in response to a lasso. If someone gets lassoed and then you immediately curse, that's also fine. But so far, things have not really shown up on the side of team fight with Detonator.
Well, things coming out in the middle lane here. Not too sure why. Tigers make their way up to top lane. Another haste rune on Dendy, the 3rd one so far in this game that I've seen.
And he's about to hit level 15 as well. So with Greaves
1 level away,
and a very easy way to get out. Thankfully, the Shadow Fiend and Troll are staying away from each other. So no real curse threat. Go. I think at least let Troll get his BKB. They start going really hard in the paint. Greaves itself on Shadow Fiend is not enough. But the remainder of Tigers 4-man smoke, and Weaver will pop it on the Earth Spirit.
So with his Ember, last game he played it, if you remember, he didn't actually manage to get his Maelstrom up. It was a very sad game. This game he has been given space to at least get that, and he's not quite so far down the net worth, but whether he's actually going to be able to do anything for the next fight remains to be seen. Meanwhile, Tigers just trying to assert themselves to this map as much as possible.
Hit and run. The most important thing about this Maelstrom being completed is that their high ground defense is far better. Is going for the maxed out Sleight of Fist, and so having that on a 6-second cooldown with the damage that it does and the Maelstrom damage means that it's a lot easier to hold high ground as an Ember Spirit. But in terms of team fight, it's still going to be a little bit longer until his contribution is still relevant. Especially since Ben-Hur is not going for like big triple remnant plays. He's primarily using remnant defensively, and so his damage output is heavily reduced as a result.
Bottom tower going down. They haven't quite got the level 15 on Dender yet, but they don't even seem to need it as they tear through that bottom tower. And not really showing any signs of slowing down right now.
We got 50 seconds left in this Aegis. I don't know how desperate they are to push it. It looks like they're content.
Yeah. Not wanting to force the issue too much, you know, it's a good way to throw a game is trying to do too much with an Aegis. Although, well, they're not going to get himself away quite easily.
I wonder if anyone's going to get a Yules for him. It's like Mad Rider and Earth Spirit are both getting Blink Daggers, and Shadow Fiend is going for BKB, so probably not. And Sven finishes up with a Blink Dagger of his own.
That's some good initiation for Detonator, something they're missing pretty sorely before. The ability to get in and actually take a fight with a blink and a stun. And that is going to be coming out from the Sven. Gotta remember that this Winter's Curse always works better if it's just a kind of responsive spell rather than an initiation spell. It's very difficult to as they roll. They're gonna connect onto the Wyvern as well. Raven manages it to silence up as well. It's gonna start the fight off. No, the actual Grave comes out. He might be able to get himself off a curse in this fight. After all, they're staying away from each other. They're keeping that distance, and he's gonna go down to the fire. Cold Embrace himself for some reason. And now the BKB on control and out, but I'm not sure Weaver can fight this one. Does manage to dodge out, just out of range there of that initial sentry from 1437, and that means that the magic missile gets dispelled. Close. Close.
I didn't catch how they saw the Wyvern, but great roll by Raven. That makes this high ground siege a little bit easier, although the Wyvern's so low level, she's going to be back in just now. And they don't have the Aegis anymore, it timed out a minute ago. So I still think that they... Oh wait, they do have the BKB on troll, but it's on cooldown now. Okay, so...
Yeah, he used it in the last fight. I forget, if you use the curse on a non-spell immune target, will a spell immune target...
You can only control the spell immune person if they're the primary target. A spell immune person will not get taunted into attacking someone.
Okay, gotcha. Easy. Yeah, I'm actually super surprised that the Wyvern decided to go for the Cold Embrace rather than
yeah. I mean, I'd say
just
YOLO
curse up the troll.
wouldn't have probably done anything, but it's only an 80-second cooldown. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, and just controlling up the troll in his BKB for that
yeah,
fight.
Exactly.
Something at least, but instead they just allow Tigers to run all over them, and now defend somehow. Venge throwing in the Wave of Terror, just scouting out, and this is proving how strong they are. You know, when the Venge is able to stand here while the closest member of our team is over here, kind of says a lot.
And they should know that Sven has a Blink Dagger at this point, because he's shown himself, so if Venge still isn't afraid after seeing a Blink Dagger Sven, then that definitely speaks to how valid they are right now. Tigers do find the Venge though.
Okay. Swap. Use it. But the lasso, and they managed to drag him down onto the low. Cave just takes down the Ember Spirit, chunking away. And just goes into the range and finishes off there to hurt. Meanwhile, Fly taken care of as well. Well, he's in trouble, going down. Now looking towards RR as well. Sven trying to make his way out of this fight, but there's not going to be any escape from him. The roll forward once again gets it, and he wasn't even bothered. He wasn't even joining in the fight. He's just here coming crazy. Yeah, good job, guys. Hold on. I'm just going to go push in the wave up onto the high ground, heal you all up, mana you all up, and we can get to work.
Presence all these towers up. Level 16 is acquired after the Glyph Tiger comes out. Tower gets completely shredded. And now it's Ember versus the world. Although there is a Winter's Curse. There has always been a Winter's Curse.
There was yeah, that's been consistent throughout this game. But see, this is a high IQ play though. Tigers, they only send one of their cores to the fight. You know, he just doesn't turn up.
That's all you need to do.
Good luck, Winter's Curse. If I'm not there.
So Mad Rider's able to successfully escape. So now I imagine take the shrines, the control, which will respawn in 1 minute.
What have we here?
So I have a theory.
Let's hear it.
A lot of casters never really say the names of our spirits. It's because the geomagnetic grip, I think magnetize, and sometimes only spells should ever get said. Like we always just say he's rolling in, you know, you never say roll. He casts rolling boulder to close the gap.
Yeah.
I think it's just because people like all casters are really bad at Dota, and we never played high skill heroes like this, so we don't.
That's the best
Dude, I do.
Oh, okay.
I've got a friend that played Oracle a lot, and bang, games you. I'm like,
That's what it's
what,
called.
in the middle of a team fight, like I don't know what that is yet, but eventually you find out.
You may be onto something. I know that's what a lot of people were
still
commenting
get
on
confused.
Oracle for the longest time. At least Earth Spirits are like, they're indicative of what they are. Like rolling, he's rolling, smashing, you know, it's actually like, you know, shoulder bumping the rock, and then a grip. He sticks his hand out, you know, and grip implies like something's coming towards you. So they're all somewhat intuitive. Whereas Oracle is like Fortune's End. What does Fortune's End mean? Does Fortune's End mean you're not going to die?
Then getting ganked deep here. 3 heroes coming in hard onto the Earth. Oh my god! That heal bomb did a lot of DMGs. Goodness me. How much was that? Nice. 844 damage. And by the Dazzle with 1 Shadow Wave.
I see a Poison Touch icon also.
Yeah.
Don't discount that contribution.
Apologies.
Well, Raven's dead, but the rest of the team is taking the top shot. Meanwhile, so they're getting ready for Roche, which is available now, and Detonator cannot take it at all. All they can do is
Steal it.
this hurts, but that's really it.
Mythical curse. I mean, to be fair, we flamed the guy for holding onto the black hole for too long, and then he went and won the game with
This
it.
is
So,
true.
you know,
No.
maybe
We were blaming RR for it, and RR
you know.
has been doing fine in my book. Wyvern will scout out that Roche is indeed up. Interesting position. Oh
Yeah.
no, she went to the low ground.
Oh, got pooped out. That's very awkward. Luckily, no one saw it. That would have been very funny. I almost wish he did get caught.
I don't know if he saw the axe as troll fly out of the backside.
Well, they've got the ward down here. I can see spirit
Yeah.
positioned well here. Come on, fly solo. Let's see it.
Well, no one's on.
Sometimes you play
him.
for the game, and sometimes you play for the front page of
do it.
Reddit. He's waiting
it.
for it. He's waiting for it. They've seen him though. They catch him out. They've got him down. They don't. Oh no.
The important thing is he made space because the rest of the team is pushing bot. Weaver does have a Desolator.
Oh, Batrider.
Batrider.
Oh my god.
Did not see that one coming.
Yeah. Maybe not anticipating this many heroes to be hanging around down here is let's get picked
Danny
up.
wants to come.
But they're resisting in, he's ready to punch, and RR will throw down the stun, but with all these heroes getting surrounded him, he's going to be the sacrificial lamb, and Dendi tears him a new one as Raven rolling up to the high ground here. Plenty walks past the ancient camp.
Velo does see this Weaver, but Weaver has a beat.
No one near enough
there's
for him
not enough
anyways.
follow-up.
Like 8 black hole to land that huge black hole at the end. I think what 29 minutes of no Winter Curse are going to lead to.
That's how it works, right? The spell gets a
Yeah,
bigger
he's charging
AoE
it.
the less time you use it. That would actually be an interesting mechanic.
True.
In Street Fighter,
Enjoy yourself while you can, for Dyer's top
wait,
tower
no,
has fallen.
okay, so in Street Fighter there's this character Balrog, right? Boxer. He has a mechanic where if you have to press one of his punch buttons, and the longer you hold it, the more powerful it will be. But the flip side is you can't use it the entire time, because like normally you use the punch button to use the punch. And so there's a cheese tactic where you basically hold that button down from the first second of the game, and then it's a one-hit KO if you're able to pull it off for like 40 seconds. Yeah, if you survive long enough without using that button, and it's hilarious every single time.
Okay, trying to go through back door here on the side of Tiger King. I don't know creeps in right now. Unfortunately, did change targets. That's not going to happen. And in comes Bella, the Wyvern once again. Another day, another Winter's Curse. Not going to be seen. We'll buy back
They
into
still
this
can't
one.
push with it. Like the creeps are a mile away. The Wyvern does buy back.
Oh dear. I like the way chat's telling us not to bully Fly right now, as 5 minutes on and we're still going pretty hard on the dude. Boy, you're gonna be mad.
I mean, we're 5 minutes in the future and they still haven't used it yet.
True.
Again, like, it's not entirely his fault. It is a difficult game, much as how it was a difficult game for Dendy in game 2. But at the same time, there is such a thing as conservative with it, and some earlier fights may have been a little bit simpler if you aren't go for like plays, because you know, this Ember Spirit's game, if you're able to buy more time to get positioning for a triple remnant or zone out the rest of the team with these slight maelstrom procs, like, they're holding high ground pretty successfully, even without the curse.
Yeah.
And this is what maelstrom procs to the sleight of fist is good. Question is,
yeah, the range racks will go, but that's about it right now. They need to find a way to take care of these siege creeps.
Ember Spirit. So, oh, they gave the cheese to Troll. Okay, so he's back up to full.
Some delicious fondue, ready to roll. Stun's been thrown up. Where's the curse? No, he gets lassoed again. Bello on the case. They do manage to get the curse. Can he use the curse? He's silenced. He's silenced. Oh no, they're trying to heal him, but it's just not going to happen. Fly solo for a miserable old time here as Raven rolling forwards, looking for the kills here, trying to connect onto RR here, but RR runs away. There's Huangba coming in. He's got a lot of damage. He's got a Desolator. He's got him down. He's got a BKB to work with should he want it. But meanwhile, on the backside of the fight, forced back to base by 458. Tigers just asserting themselves up on this hard right now and forcing Denton. I mean, they can't fight into this right now.
Yeah.
34 seconds until the Wyvern's back up. That was a dieback from him as well.
And Raven has had so many
into the middle of fiddle. He's got that BKB. He's going to throw it out and try and hunt down the Ember Spirit, but he's just not able to close it. So he turns around, tries to look for another target instead, but he can't find anybody. He's losing health himself to 458. It's the ultimate from the Shadow Fiend comes out and going to force back the Weaver as RR held still. He is going to get graved up. Going to go for the TP back to base. He's going to get the root. Yes, he is, and he's gone. Buyback from Ben. Ben her on the sidelines, just trying to throw in the damage. The Sluggish just seeming doing nothing of the roll forward, throwing him back, but he does manage to get up onto the high ground. Heal up comes up from Sam H as well, and now the stun comes down. The return is in. A Raven is stunned up and brought down by the God's Strength. Are they going to go for more here? They are, but unfortunately there's nobody to catch. The Tigers have backed themselves up. Weaver still chasing though. Huangba looking, but he's got no slow to speak of. All he's got is chase. Is that going to be enough versus Dendy? Fella's coming out. He's got lasso again? It's off cooldown? Yeah, but it's not the Wyvern, so he doesn't want to use it on this. Now they're going to fight around this shrine as well. Huangba needs to be so careful. He's got the lasso. He's just going to come in and, well, Shadow Fiend, he's dropping low here. And with Benner on top of him here, Dendy's staying alive. He's got the green to keep himself up, but finally the Sleight of Fist will do the job. And somehow Huangba makes his way out of this one as well. But one chased again by Bello, just chasing him down. The BKB being used. That's not cool. Make his way out. Got the security to make his and Fly Solo, they see him and they all just lock in on Fly Solo, of course, because
on cooldown.
Well, you can't say he hasn't used it now. Savage going for the TP out. The wall's gonna cancel it. Raven on the floor making the plays as a dazzle. He doesn't even grave off because Raven says no. And again, it's finding nothing. I can't believe. Well, Dendy did die in the end, but yeah, he bought back.
So it is a little bit of a penalty.
That's not where I was going with that. I can't believe. I was gonna say I can't believe
it's not butter.
It's not butter. Oh, yeah, great product. Anyway, 4-5 onto the high ground. 4 heroes here to defend, but no Winter's.
I don't know.
Manta. It's the final back there. And Tigers position very likely to be able to stay with BKB. Well, boxing on them, fighting into Megas. Dendy held still on the backlines as well, so they get the on to Ben her and take him down. Huangba fighting up into Dendy right now, but it's looking hopeless. He's got the time lapse to work with, but it's just going to bring him back into the team. Actually, they've all run past him, so he will be able to get it on. Oh, swap, come back. Stun out as well, but a beautiful stun comes in from Ben. He's not doing any damage, and Huangba kept alive by the back. Dendy dropping low here, but the swap onto the low ground, going to keep him alive a little, and they can't fight either the Ember Spirit, unable to find this kill. Just empty right now, but Sven rolled into and blown up, wanting to kill Dendy so badly, but could not get it. And not to mention Benner held still here in the backline, up by 458, tears them apart, and GG is called. Tigers have done it. They've secured their place in the closed qualifiers, beating out Detonator in the opens of this final game. Well, pretty decent series, I would say.
Absolutely. Both games very action-packed for sure, and that's what we love Southeast Asian Dota for.